Hello and how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest Bethesda Game Studios news, rumors, and speculation, and in today's video, I want to give you my take on what I think Starfield will be, including basically a brief synopsis, a TL doctor of what the beginning of the game will be, the core mechanics, and just overall gameplay, and kind of the ending. This will be my take based on actual confirmed information about Starfield, which there isn't much, and on top of that, a lot of community-based discoveries, my own speculation and hypotheses, and just other stuff like the 10th planet, which was Bethesda Game Studios' kind of first attempt at Starfield back in the 90s, and this game even became a book series, even though the game franchise was essentially cancelled before it ever came out. Nonetheless, I believe there will be elements from the 10th planet and its book series and a canceled game in the Starfield Loki, and I'll just break it all down for you in today's video. But remember, very little of this will be confirmed. If something is confirmed, I will be sure to basically mention it and point it out, but all this is my own theories, my own speculation on what I think Starfield will be. I'll try to summarize basically what I think the tone of the game will be, the gameplay, everything in this video, but at the same time I'll try to go through it kind of quick so it's not like a 4-hour like bedtime video or something. Well, I'm sure a lot of you would enjoy that. That's something I would rather do in a stream. I'd rather stream you all to sleep with my bored speculation rather than have you click on a video for that, but nonetheless, let's not waste any more time and get to today's video. So we're going to start with how I think Starfield would start, but before I get to that, before I get to the start, I want to start with the most starts of all the starts, the beginning, the foundations of what Starfield will be, and this is probably the only confirmed information we'll have in this entire video. Todd Howard actually literally said, Starfield will be what you expect from a Bethesda Game Studios single-player RPG. It'll play and be kind of low-key what you expect from them. It'll be similar to the same vibe, the same like RPG style, first-person dynamic, single-player game, but it'll obviously be a whole new IP. Their first new IP in over 25 years, and it will be set obviously in space based on the only teaser trailer we've ever gotten, and the same planet from the teaser trailer was also in a very recent Xbox E3 2021 teaser as well. So maybe this planet is important, maybe this planet is a placeholder, but it seems like this planet might be in Starfield, and also some sort of event happened to this satellite, to the space station, to this terraforming station. A lot of people think it might be a telescope too. Whatever this is, it also had some sort of warp situation happen that made it shoot somewhere deep into space or get pulled into some warp hole or something strange. That's basically all the confirmed information we have about Starfield, and it seems like Starfield is set to come out in 2022 based on almost every insider who is credible in the gaming industry right now. So don't worry, Starfield isn't going to be some kind of multiplayer mobile game simulator like pay-as-you-go pyramid scheme, Todd Howard comes into your house and touches you at night simulation thing, or anything like that. Starfield will be a single-player Bethesda Game Studios RPG like you expect. However, this game is going to be huge. It's going to have more in-game systems than we've ever seen before, and it's going to be pretty amazing based on some BGS developer statements. They're all very excited to share this game with us, and here is my take, my estimations, all my speculation on what I think this game is going to be based on everything I just said, and based on the 10th planet, which is something I already basically broke down. The TL Doctor, the 10th planet, is Bethesda Game Studios trying to make a game like Starfield in the 90s. However, their scope for what the game was going to be and what they wanted the game to be was so grand it almost bankrupted Bethesda Game Studios, and it would have been impossible to make at the time. Now, Bethesda actually took the main story for this game, for the 10th planet, and turned it into a book series, which you can still buy on Amazon right now, by the way. And I think that there will be some elements from the 10th planet story in Starfield, because based on the teaser trailer itself, there already are. So some of my hypothesis will be based on this 10th planet book series as well. However, let's begin with how I think Starfield will start. Bethesda Game Studios seems to have a trend with how all their games start, and it's basically you coming out of some sort of like area of confinement, whether you're a prisoner or you're in a vault, and you come into this big gigantic world that you're not completely familiar with. It's like a new world for you. If it's in the Elder Scrolls universe, you're in a land you're not familiar with, so your character's not familiar with the region that the game is taking place in. With Fallout, you've been in the vault your whole life for the most part, or you're just entering like the wasteland for the first time in this area. So you're always coming out of some area of confinement for the most part and entering a world for the first time, or region for the first time. And I think Starfield is going to mirror this, whether or not we escape from some kind of space prison transport, or we're on some sort of research space station and some kind of anomalous event happens that sucks us deep into space, and we're kind of stranded in an alien sector deep into space that we're not familiar with, cut off from the rest of humanity, and we have to kind of figure out a way back or build up humanity's colonies here in like a Mass Effect Andromeda kind of style situation. But nonetheless, settlements, I think Starfield is going to begin in some similar way. We're going to be in some sort of confinement, whether we're like stuck on a space station because we're scheduled to work there for multiple years, or we break out of a space transport. Can you guys hear the fire truck? A lot of people say you can't hear this stuff in the background, but the fire truck definitely can hear you all. It's coming for you if you can hear it. But I think that we will be introduced into a new area of space somehow that we're not familiar with, whether we're escaping from space prison or some sort of anomaly happens because we're a scientist or something like that. Nonetheless, I don't think we're going to be some kind of hardened space mercenary, because we got to start the game with like no skill points or just very little skill points based on the class we choose, if we do get to choose a class. So I don't think like we're going to be some sort of person with a lot of combat experience or something. It would make sense if we're like a scientist or just some sort of civilian working on a space station that had some sort of event happened and all the scientists died and we're the sole survivor of this event, except for maybe some other like people who were on different space stations that also got caught up in the event but separated from you, so then you have to go investigate stuff. And I think this is where the main gameplay mechanic will come in, to where we'll be overwhelmed by the scope of the game world available to us at the start. We won't know what direction we want to go in. We'll have so many opportunities like we usually do with Bethesda Game Studios, because although the main quest might take you in a certain direction, for the most part you can almost go any direction from the beginning of the game. Some areas may kill you because they're higher level or whatever, but you usually can get overwhelmed or just get that feeling of grand scale, kind of like how you walk out of the vault looking over the scale of the wasteland. We're going to have that, but it's going to be space, and there will be main story elements, side quests and stuff all in the world like we're familiar with, but I also think resource gathering and colony management will be overhauled and important in Starfield. I mean, just a space setting kind of just screams that resource management will be a thing, right? With all the different asteroids, all the different biomes, and all the different planets, it kind of has to give the player a reason to explore, so we can get all these different mats, all these different materials for all these different reasons, and at the same time, space gives a better reason and a better backdrop to colonize and build up settlements. I believe that settlements will be overhauled, not in the sense that they're going to be like 80% of the game, like how naval stuff was 80% of the game in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but I believe if players do want to go hard with building settlements, there will be a lot more depth to it, a lot more fun, a lot more variety and unique stuff with the settlements. I believe that there will be a reason and more actual motivation and awards for having successful settlements, and more depth and variety in harvesting resources, supplying water and oxygen to certain settlements based on the biome. And like Fallout 4, I believe the settlement system will play into the main quest, or at least a certain portion of it, but I don't think it's going to be more or less mandatory to a huge degree. I believe we will have a ship that we can pilot around and upgrade. Maybe there's multiple ships in the game and we can purchase a better one and upgrade. I don't think we're going to have a fleet or anything, although that would be hype, but I do believe we'll be able to have crew members, get to know them like we get to know our NPC companions and important companions of note in previous Bethesda Game Studios games, and I think that the crew stuff will be overhauled on our ships as well. I think that there will be a pretty awesome skill system, and I think there's going to be like interesting dynamics in the skill system, but I don't think there's going to be one overall arcing thing in Starfield like the, I guess, Thune was in Skyrim or VATS was in Fallout. I mean, if Starfield had VATS or just kind of ripped VATS off and it was a staple in the game, that might make the community complain that they just basically just copy and pasted that mechanic and put it in Starfield. But I think VATS will be kind of in the game. I don't think it'll be called VATS, but I think it'll be like a perception or agility upgrade or award or perk or something, if you will. I think the game will play like we expect. It'll be a Bethesda Game Studios game, but in space, and it'll be very interesting to explore because of the space backdrop. We'll always have a reason to go out and explore another planet or go somewhere we haven't been before. We want to farm some more resources. Maybe we have a crew quest. Maybe we want to find more crew members. Maybe we want to build up a faction, and this goes into what I think will be in the game too. I think factions will make a big comeback like the Bethesda Game Studios days of old, only you can build up and ally with factions and change the entire scope and dynamic of the game world based on the factions you choose to ally with. I believe there will be space faction wars, and allying with certain factions will allow you to have better access to certain resources, or maybe even faction-specific ships or upgrades or crew members. I think this could add a lot of replayability to the game, or even longevity to the game, if you can find a way to make all the factions get along and not have to actually lose out on some factions by allying with others. And I believe that having these factions in the game will also open the door for there to be different like guilds, if you will, or at least factions that you can join more or less and level up your rank in like you could in the days of old as well. I believe that there will be a lot of side stuff in this game, and maybe even multiple main quests, kind of like how Skyrim had multiple main quests. It had the whole Elduin thing, and then it had the Civil War thing as well. I believe there will be stuff like that in Starfield, and like I said, this game will have so many more game systems than we've ever seen before in a Bethesda Game Studios game, not only because of the factions and all that, but also because there's going to be gravity, oxygen, so much stuff in this game, space probably, asteroids. I mean, there's going to be so much stuff in this game that it's going to be amazing and overwhelming. I think that this game is going to actually make us feel that feeling that people who love Bethesda Game Studios games actually felt when they played their first BGS game. If you know what I'm talking about, you're going to get hyped now, because that feeling of booting up your first Bethesda Game Studios game and just feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you're in another fantasy world and just falling in love with a game that you've never played before. I just can't wait for that. I feel Starfield will be that. It'll be reinvigorating for the Bethesda Game Studios community, and BGS has a huge move they can make here. And I'll end today's video with crazy speculation stuff. I think aliens might be in this game, and I think there will only be like a few races of aliens. I think there will be remnants of alien races sort of on a couple planets that come across Earth's solar system based on an elliptical orbit, and some of this is kind of based on the 10th Planet books that I talked about earlier, and the video game that was actually canceled from BGS in the 90s. Basically, I believe that there is a solar system that's on an elliptical orbit with our sun, meaning our sun is a binary solar system that actually has two suns in the solar system, but one of them kind of operates like this. But it's what's known as an elliptical orbit, so it's like an oval, it's like a compressed sphere, so it comes by every so many years, and according to the 10th Planet, when this solar system comes by, there's remnants of an alien civilization on these planets that need resources because they basically survive some sort of apocalyptic event, or maybe just because their solar system goes out into deeper space, they have issues with that and their sun isn't enough to actually sustain them. So I believe there's multiple races, maybe 3 or 4 alien races in this solar system, and according to the 10th Planet story, when they come by Earth, they actually attack Earth to harvest it for its resources and our solar system, and they just basically invade our solar system and stuff. And the last time they invaded our solar system was before humanity was modern. However, according to the 10th Planet lore and stuff, they're like all the ancient alien things that are talked about in the History Channel actually pertain to this race invading Earth and our solar system for resources. So I believe this is going to be the story of Starfield, but I believe there's going to be multiple races, and not all of them actually agree with attacking us, and you can maybe through diplomacy or maybe by doing side quests or stuff get some of these races to ally with Earth in order to fight off the main alien invaders permanently, because there's probably something that is giving them power. Maybe they're getting more powerful with every cycle because of just how militant and evil they are, or how many resources they seem to be getting from their previous invasions. So maybe Earth wants to finally invade them for like once and for all, and maybe Starfield 2 will take place in their solar system, going deep into space, and from there going even further out. Now, like I said, this is some heavy speculation stuff based on the 10th Planet. This likely isn't the story at all, or if any of this is true, maybe just a minute portion of this is true, and I kind of believe this might be the case with what Starfield's story is, but at the same time I don't. This is just a theory I'm making based on what the 10th Planet story actually was, but I kind of think it's not going to be exactly this. It'll have portions of this, more or less, but it won't 100% be copy and paste everything I said with this story here. I do believe a lot of the stuff I talked about in today's video will be accurate, and we will see in Starfield, but like I said, all this is my own speculation, based on previous Bethesda Game Studios patterns, based on some confirmed information, and just based on the 10th Planet and other just random stuff. Nonetheless, that finishes up everything I want to talk about in today's video. If you enjoy my take on Starfield, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know what you think Starfield is going to be down in the comments below. As always, be sure to subscribe, turn notifications on so you don't miss the latest content, and huge shout out and much appreciation to the following amazing people for going above and beyond to support the channel and bring you content like this. If you want to get a permanent future video shout out in every single one of my videos from this point forward, you can support the channel over in Ko-fi, Patreon, and here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. Links for all this and more are down in the description below, and as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when Todd Howard's clone is literally in this other solar system and he's coming by soon, and he has the Elder Scrolls 6 for us. Ooh.
It just works.